at some point we have to say, if this was a Man United, an Arsenal, or whoever else, it's been nearly 18 months now, a sample size of something's gone wrong. Something's not the same as it once was. And we have to start questioning, why are you doing this? He himself said before the Newcastle game, the season starts now. You lose to Newcastle, you then make 10 changes, you lose again. So when does the season start? When is this tinkering stopping? And also, it's coming off the back of an international break. So it's not as if the lads have played 10 games back to back, so you need to change it.
But
so
why did he make 10 changes? What do you think the reasoning was behind it? Do you think he was trying to send a message to the players from the weekend and say, this isn't good enough and I have a deep enough squad to be able to make the changes?
I think he's the evil genius. I think he's done it before in the past and it's worked, and he's had a deep enough squad with the same level of talent. Think about it in years gone by. He's taking out Haaland and he's putting Alcaraz in. And you go, OK, Julian Alvarez, and that makes sense. And you go, OK, that's a like for like. Now you're playing Marmoush through the middle, who naturally is a left. You got Doku, who's playing at a great moment, took him off in the game against Newcastle, now brings him on at half-time. It just seems to me, we saw it last year when he was scratching his face. And I love this man, by the way, I think he's exceptional. But he now started to get to a question where we're going, he needs a break. He looks mentally fatigued as well as the players, and sometimes that message could become a little bit stale. But I'm seeing a lot of the same goals now being scored against this Man City team. They can't defend crosses. Nathan Ake played with him at Watford, wonderful talent. He never used to get beat like that. That's a simple cross, you know where it's coming, and as the guy heading it, he's like vertical.
He bullied him.
And that's not Nathan Ake. He's strong, he's physical, and I'm just looking at it now and going, something's not right. I'm not paid to figure it out, but I'm allowed to show you that it's not right.
The energy wasn't there. I think when you look at Pep, when he said in that confidence of, this is when our season starts, that's when he felt something in the team. And then when you lose to Newcastle, when you lose today to Leverkusen, that is a big gut punch, and that's the reality. When I look at it in the whole, everything that's happened so far, we say that the great managers, you look at Sir Alex Ferguson in his time at Manchester United, he used to change his assistant quite a bit. And that was a recipe for success for Manchester United because it was a different voice that was coming. Pep Guardiola's had that in Manchester City, and that hasn't helped that much. He's changed his backroom staff quite a bit now, and still you don't see it. What I see for me is like what Pep says. I see a manager now that has given everything that he can, and I don't think he'll ever get Manchester City to that point that he took them. I think it's going to be a time now where he has to say to himself that I need to change. I need something new. I need to step away from the game maybe and take some time to myself to maybe re-energize and everything, because I just don't see Pep Guardiola getting Manchester City to the heights that he once did. The energy doesn't seem to be there in the team. They look vulnerable. Leverkusen's first goal was a fantastic worked goal from back to front. Kwanzaa into the midfield. One pass killed the entire Manchester City midfield. Tillman turned on the ball, plays it out wide, and Grimaldo scores in the back stick there. That is not the type of goal you can score against Manchester City. 3 passes to break that down at Manchester City. You'd have to start questioning now the characters in the team. Are there the characters, again, that Pep had when he was at his great point? They're no longer there.
Do you think the players are in some way, Grella, as well, seeing, the aftermath of everything from the Newcastle game? It was almost overshadowed, the result, by everything, the altercation that happened with Pep and the cameraman. If you're a player at Manchester City right now, are you also scratching your head thinking, what is going on?
Yeah, that's a strange one. I mean, I think he's done a couple strange things over the years. I'm with Troy, though. He is one of the greatest managers of all time, so we're not talking about that. But we are talking about tonight, and we're talking about the highest level, the highest competition in the world, to make 10 changes, and then halfway through the game, start getting Doku on, start getting Haaland on. Hey, guys, come and save me again. I think you guys would agree that one of the messages we always say in the changing room is, hey, you work all week, hey, respect them. Respect the opponent. They're really good at this. This is where they can hurt us. This is where we need to prepare for this Leverkusen-sized Champions League night, right? And when you make 10 changes, you're not showing any respect to the opponent when you make 10 changes. And then you look on the weekend, oh, maybe there's it's Manchester United on the weekend. But in the weekend, it's Leeds United at home. So you would think they would have enough, but
even that, though, right?
You made a mistake.
When you're a player you're coming in, you're not in your best moment. You can't make 10 changes and expect it to be fluid. So even if I was Marmoush, I'd be going to the manager like, how do you expect me to perform? I'm not working with what we would consider our first team.
Correct.
I'm not giving me a platform and a foundation to it. Every single one of those players is probably doing a little bit more than they normally would because they want to be involved at the weekend. So I think when you go to 10 changes, it's too much, too soon, and everyone should have their moment.
You'd have to say there's a little bit of also arrogance in that. There's a little bit of arrogance and overconfidence thinking that this Leverkusen side is going to be a walkover. And even though I made 10 changes, that I still expect myself to win. And again, I think that's a bit too arrogant, in my opinion.
No, but that's having respect for his team. He's saying that his players should beat them. Whatever team but what I'm saying is if you don't give them the platform to do it and give them the normal back four, so when we're playing out from the back, this is what we're used to, you're now going to people, go on, here's your moment, do too much. And that's what I'm saying.
This happened to me a lot in my career. When I was at Leeds United especially, right? Because as soon as one of the main strikers, Luciano Becchio, Jermaine Beckford, Premier League guys who went to go on to play in the Premier League, as soon as they got hurt, they get a guy on loan, right? And so anytime I was given an opportunity, it would be with 10 other guys that never played, that we never really played together again. I remember, and the manager would say, "Oh, well, you were given an opportunity," but you never felt like that because you didn't play it with the first team. I played with a guy who was hammered for 3 days straight, and he was my strike partner one of the games. So obviously, he said, "Oh yeah, you've had your opportunity." I've never played with this guy before, and he was hammered for 3 days straight. So how am I supposed to play with him?
So do you think in some ways, Grella, the players that did play tonight are a little bit frustrated too, thinking, how do you expect us to win when you've caused so much chaos in the team?
It's a tricky, it's an opportunity to play Champions League football with a bunch of guys that don't have maybe the relationships of playing week in and week out with each other. So it's always going to be a little bit of difficulty against a Leverkusen side. By the way, Leverkusen not good the last 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, not good. But still, at this level, you can't change 10 changes and then expect to win the game.
I would say yes, I understand that, but there's got to be a level of responsibility sometimes and accountability. As professional football players, these are not young kids. Different if they're 18, 19 altogether. These guys are internationals where they know what's expected. Some of us, we know that situation. We're told, be prepared, because the game changes just like that. You've always got to be ready for an opportunity. When that opportunity comes, you've got to take it. So sometimes we've got to say, yes, these players have to take the responsibility as individuals to say, we've got a job to do. I've got to be professional. If my opportunity comes, I've got to take it, regardless if it's whoever else I'm on the pitch with. Because you know it yourself, we say, you're not paying my mortgage. I've got to go out there and perform.
Well, it was the first loss in the group stage of the Champions League for them at the Etihad since 2018, which really puts into perspective how dominant they are. Let's just hear from Pep Guardiola after the match.
Pep, you've been in the dressing room for a long time. What has been said in there between you and the players?
Belong to us.
What's your assessment of what you saw out on the pitch tonight?
Well, it was not the performance that we thought, and maybe, of course, I take the full responsibility. Still, I think that the players that started are exceptional players, but we missed something that we need in the highest level, and so it was an incredible opportunity to stop, and now we have to fight for the next games.
What do you think was missing tonight?
They were good, and in general, you did also very good things. We have chances, and I would say the chances we had more than them, but it was a half chances. Always we block, always we slippery, always it was something there, and we didn't have that, to believe that. Okay, it's a moment to attack, we attack. It's a moment to defend, because it's not being in the position, it's being present in the position defensively and offensively, of course. We have to determination to go, okay, I'm going to make a movement, I'm going to make some situations that we can do.
Why do you think that maybe wasn't there from the players on the pitch tonight?
Sorry?
Why do you think that wasn't there?
It's happened. Sometimes it happens.
Looking back at the team that you selected tonight, you said that they're all fantastic players who did start, but making 10 changes, do you maybe regret that?
Understand your question. Absolutely, I have to accept it. So I have to accept it. If we win, it will not be the problem. So I accept that maybe it's a lot, but I think playing every 2 or 3 or 4 days, we need, but maybe it's too much. Yeah, right. Seeing the result, maybe it's too much.
Just looking forward, though, the 3 games that are remaining, does this maybe put a little bit more pressure on that trip to Real Madrid next time in the Champions League?
We have time now. The think about is Leeds.
Thank you, Pep.
You're very welcome.
I think the last thing he wants to think about is Real Madrid coming up on the horizon, although Real Madrid haven't been in the best form, have they? Here's just a reminder of the run that came to an end. 23 matches in the Champions League at home, unbeaten, only their second loss in the last 25 against a German side. Shut out in the Champions League for the third time in 34 UEFA matches. I think what was interesting there was when he was asked about the changes, Troy, you could tell he almost wanted to say, yes, it is a regret, but instead he went down the road of, well, the fixture congestion so much.
No, like he's right. Obviously, if they would have won 4-0,
Right.
everyone would go, oh, great, he is, he can rotate his squad, blah, blah, blah. But he knows better than anybody. Once you lose and you've made those changes, it's a natural question that's going to happen. Do you think that was a mistake? That's why he kind of laughed, sinisterly and saying, like, no, I know where you're trying to go with this. My frustration, again, it's like, oh, we play every 2-3 days. You're not the only one. Everyone does. And people are winning. And when they're winning, these teams, I never hear about congestion. I never hear them go, there's too many games. Because they want the next one. And we've been there as players. When you win, when you score as a player, you're like, next one, next one, next one. But when they get into these difficult moments, and it is a difficult moment, because at the moment, they're playing okay in games, but they're being punished. And he's used to them being the punishers. I've played against this Man City team. I've lost 6-0. I'll tell you, it's not nice. It's not nice. But you know they're going to punish you if you make a mistake. You have to do it. And now he's on the other side of the coin, and he's now making these excuses. And I'm a little bit disappointed in him for making those excuses, because he's got the squad. He spent a lot of money last January. He spent a lot of money this summer as well. So now he's rebuilding the squad. You give yourself talent. You give yourself depth. He's actually the one who complained he's got too many players.
Yes. Exactly.
And now he's in a situation going, there's too many games. So have you got too many players or too many games? Which one is it?
What is it? I just look at a manager, Poppy, sorry to interrupt. I just look at a manager that in that interview there that just looks defeated. Looks like he doesn't have the answer anymore. Doesn't know what to do. You can't go there.
I see a bit of fire in there.
I know he wants to, but it just doesn't seem like he has the answer of what he needs to do to get the players to perform. He said that something was missing. Like that's your job. What was missing? You're supposed to have the one with the answer.
Would you expect him to tell us?
I would expect him to sell it, because he's very, very forward and very honest when he needs to be. I just think right now he really doesn't deeply know, and he doesn't know what to say. I think it's a manager that, for me, like I said, I look at someone that just needs to get away from football now. I'm not saying fire him or anything like that. He needs a break. There's a reason why Jurgen Klopp said, and surprised everyone, and said, I'm stepping away from Liverpool.
He told you that last year as well, didn't he?
That intense every single day, and the demands you put on players, and we know players that have played for Pep. In fact, the demands he puts on players every day, week in, week out, with all these games, it's hard to sustain that for so many years.
I think, just to be clear, we're not just talking about on this reaction to this game.
No.
We're talking about the reaction of the last 6-8 months of Manchester City.